Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going on with part number 2 of what is wrong with the beauty community. So in part 1 I talked about the oversaturation of beauty influencers, and that is like so true to a T. And I highlighted on the fact that it is really hard for anybody to kind of like stand out and shine above the rest. And in this part number 2, I actually want to talk more about makeup companies in and of themselves, things that are wrong with that part of the beauty industry, and kind of like evolve into that as well. So I did talk in part 1 of the video about how the makeup industry is constant. It's a revolving door now. Like you're constantly going. There's new makeup releases, like I swear every single day. Like this summer there were so many foundation releases. It was crazy. I mean, ColourPop comes out with a new release of some sort of palette like every other week, which is their thing. That's their thing. But then you had like ABH, who released like 4 palettes within the span of like a month. I kid you not. Like they had 2 collabs with people, and then they had like additional palettes like stacked onto it. I think I was watching a Tati video one day, and she was like, I remember when there was like a makeup launch, and then months later there would be another makeup launch, and then months later there would be another makeup launch, and then all of a sudden it just started getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And yeah, I understand it's a competitive market, but please let me like sit down for a second and test out a new foundation before another foundation comes out. Please. That would be awesome. Or like dupes. Okay, like I guess that's not something that's wrong with the beauty community, but at the same time it's kind of like there's a lot of product out there, and there are formulas that are very similar that are over-the-counter formulas compared to a higher-end formula. Yes. But like, how many foundations can you guys release? I think there was like 20 in like a month from different, like from a million different brands, I swear to God. And I had to stop and catch my breath, because how many hydrating foundations do I really need? I have one hydrating foundation. I mean, how many stick foundations do I need? ColourPop has one. I mean, this is a Makeup Revolution stick foundation. I think BH has one. I know Unique has one. I mean, how many companies out there need a stick foundation? And it just astounds me at how the beauty community was at a point where they would release things every 6 months, and now they're at a point where they release things almost daily. At least that's what it feels like to me. And some companies, like, they thrive on it. Like ColourPop, they released this palette like not even a couple of days ago, and then they released this one like a week ago, which that's what their company is known for, and they make up for it with their quality. Like their quality is phenomenal, and it's amazing. It's amazing the products that they come out with, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, and we live in what's wrong with the, not really necessarily the beauty community, it's more like a sense of like our world, where it's like, I need this, I need that, this is what's wrong with the world. Like, why do we need a million foundations? Why do I have a million foundations? Well, I can tell you why I have a million foundations. And I can tell you why I have a million lipsticks, because of the shade ranges and everything like that. This is what's wrong with the beauty community, is the fact that it is a revolving door like this. That there's so much product coming out. Like, how many freaking nude palettes are there going to be that come out for people to look at? And the funny thing is that they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know that, you know, people want nude palettes. Like any variation of a nude palette, they want it. It is the best thing in the world. Like when Morphe comes out with their 35 pan palettes, they're like, oh, we're going to add this color and this color, but you need it because it has this color and this color that other palettes don't have. They're smart. They know what they're doing. But like at the same time, how many nude palettes do I need? How many colorful palettes do I need? And it's not just by one brand. Like growing up, I knew of a couple of brands. There was Revlon, there was CoverGirl, and those are like the drugstore brands that like I knew of, and obviously like Maybelline and like L'Oreal. Like I knew about those brands. They were drugstore brands. Like I usually used CoverGirl because it was more affordable. And they also had like higher end brands. Like my mom would always tell me about Estee Lauder and how she loved Estee Lauder back in her cosmetology days because it was like the creme de la creme of makeup. And then you hear about Clinique from magazines like Vogue likes to feature a lot of Clinique, and you would hear about those kinds of, you know, brands. And then all of a sudden you get ABH, Urban Decay, Tarte, you get Too Faced, you get all of these brands, and it's just crazy how many brands are actually in the makeup industry now. And that is what is wrong with the makeup industry. The fact that there are so many brands, so many pieces to the puzzle, so many things launching, so many new people who think that they can create makeup, putting makeup out there. And what's really ironic and really funny is that they're the same colors. The same colors that people are producing. Like, how does this make sense to us? But we buy it. We buy it because it is makeup. It is from Tarte. It's from Urban Decay. It's from, you know, Too Faced. We buy it because it's there for us to buy. Oh, I don't have that palette. I really want that palette. I've always wanted to try that brand, but I've never tried it before. We're like, all of a sudden you look and you're like, you have 5 different palettes from 5 different brands, and there's like the same colors in each individual palette. Like, are you kidding me? That is what's wrong with our beauty. Like, that's what's wrong with the beauty community. But they're smart. They are so smart. They know that we want different brands from different companies. Like, they know that we want this kind of stuff. They know that we want versatility. Yes, I love my colored palettes. I love my bright eyeshadow palettes. I love them. What's really ironic and really funny is that I have a Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. The original. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's beautiful. And then I go and I look at some of the other palettes that are being released. Like, you have the BH Cosmetics Tropical palette that has all of these freaking colors in it, and you're just like, oh, that's really pretty. But then you look at the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette and it's like, they have a lot of the same colors. And it's like, we don't catch on to that, or do we? Do we catch on to it? But we need it because it's BH, it's not Morphe. And then you have like a nudes palette, or you have like collabs with makeup artists who make like, this is a Lion King palette. And then, I mean, so you have makeup artists who are making collabs with brands. You have influencers who are creating their own brands and releasing them. Do I need all of these brands to decipher? Back in the day when I was a teenager, the only brands I had to choose between were Maybelline, L'Oreal, CoverGirl, or Revlon. That was it. Almay wasn't even in the picture at that point. And Wet n Wild was kind of like there, but everybody associated with cheap makeup. Don't buy it because it's not worth your money. And how many nude palettes are there going to be? How many colorful palettes are there going to be? Like rainbow palettes, tropical palettes. How many of those are there going to be? How many sunset palettes are there going to be? It's crazy to think about. And it's great that we have all these different formulas. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that there's the versatility of formulas. And then all of a sudden I'm looking down at my collection and I'm like, I have a headache because I'm just like, holy crap, these are the same colors from a different brand. How did this happen? This is what's wrong. This is the second thing that's wrong with the beauty community, is that it's oversaturated with makeup in general. Is this okay? Is it okay for us to have all this makeup, to be such huge consumers of all this makeup? And I guess this is the other thing that makes it really hard for beauty influencers, is because not only are we fighting for the top seed, we're fighting for subscribers, we're fighting to give out all the information that we can on products that are being released like all the time. But the problem is that products are being released all the time. And as an influencer, when you first start out, before you even get a PR box, you are buying this product yourself. And like the product that I buy is product that I know I'm going to use, and I'm like, oh, I really want to review it too, so I might as well review it. And I guess like the stick foundation, the stick blush is an example. Like, I wanted a stick blush because I just like, hello, stick blush. I've never used one before. I really wanted to try it, and it's from ColourPop, and I was like, yes, like I need to try a stick blush, so I bought one, and then I reviewed it. And the problem with that, though, is the fact that, like, beauty influencers, they fork over this money out of pocket. And they're like, okay, like, yes, I want to try this, I want to try that. And that's how they try to keep on top of like all these other like influencers who have like, you know, 1 million subscribers or 9 million subscribers. The ones who get all that PR to just try things, or like they get paid advertising, paid brands. And then as a small beauty YouTuber trying to make it in this huge industry that's oversaturated with all this makeup that keeps getting released, it just makes it so hard. So hard. So hard. Like if I could go back 10 years ago, I would have started a YouTube then. Just doing like fantasy makeup, because that's what I used to do, was like a whole bunch of fantasy makeup for color guard, and like that's it. That's what I used to do. I would have been 20 years old, young, fresh-faced, full of ideas, and I would have been able to come to you and be like, hey guys, you know. So that's the second thing that's wrong with the beauty world. It is oversaturated with product. So oversaturated with product. In a way it's good, but in a way it's bad. Like, you have so much product in front of you that there's so many nude palettes out there. Like, you only need one nude palette. One nude palette, please. Although I guess in a way it's like, oh, it's a good thing that there's so many different nude palettes out there, because there's one person who could be allergic to it and one person who's not. There's one brand that they absolutely love that 100% works for them because of the skin tone, because of their undertones in their eyes, because of their oiliness or not oiliness of their skin. And then there's other brands that don't work with them because they don't work well with their skin type. So I guess in a way that's a good thing, but in a way it's such a bad thing because it's hard.